I'm Jason Epperson. This is RV Miles, and it's time for the latest in RV and camping news. Welcome back, everybody. Thanks for being here. First up, New York State is making its parks and historic sites free for veterans starting on Monday. They also will be free for Gold Star families, the families of military members who died while serving. This is something we reported on last November when the legislation was signed, but it goes into effect on April 1st. It's only for state residents, though. Residents who are veterans or Gold Star families will get free vehicle entry into state parks operated by the Department of Environmental Conservation, as well as state boat launch sites, historic sites, arboretums, and park preserves. Free greens fees at state park operated golf courses as well, free swimming pool entrance at state parks, and then discounted campsites and cabin rentals at state park campgrounds. The discount will be applied at the time of campground check-in. Veterans will need to have a veteran designation on their New York State driver's licenses. Gold Star parents, spouses, or children will need to apply for a lifetime pass separately. The collapse of the Francis Scott Key Bridge in Baltimore is, of course, a terrible tragedy. Thankfully, the loss of life was minimal, but still people died, and it's a very sad situation that could have been a lot worse. It will take many years to replace the bridge, some estimates up to a decade, and that's going to cause a lot of traffic havoc in the Baltimore area. It's particularly interesting for RVers, though, going forward, as I-695 across the Key Bridge was sort of the main route through Baltimore heading north or south. Staying on I-95 requires a couple tunnels that prohibit traveling through if you have propane on board. It looks like the best way around Baltimore will be to take the west half of the I-695 loop. It'll add about 15 miles in 20 minutes or so onto your trip. Not a huge deal compared to all the other things this bridge collapse affects, like local traffic and access to the nation's 20th largest port, but it's something to know of nonetheless, and I think it's a place you're going to want to avoid, especially during rush hour times if you're traveling through the Baltimore area. GE has debuted a new RV gas range that they say will not be susceptible to the typical hotspot problems that many RV ovens face. GE set out to avoid the hacks many RVers use to make a home-cooked meal on the road, like putting a pizza stone above the burner. GE says the new range performs like a traditional at-home range and can fit into RVs without compromise. The product managers and food scientists at GE Profile researched the foods that RV owners make at home and what they wish they could cook while on the road, and they ensured that they were all tested to perfection, according to a press release, with baked goods like cookies and cinnamon rolls rising to the top of that list. The ranges come in different sizes to ensure they will fit in many models of RVs. All models come with a 2-year warranty and are available in black and stainless finishes. After an early spring surge, the national average for a gallon of gas spent the past week drifting up and down by a fraction of a cent before settling a penny higher at $3.53. But the break may be temporary, according to AAA, as gas pump prices will likely resume a spring increase. Today's national average of $3.53 is 24 cents more than a month ago and 10 cents more than a year ago. Meanwhile, diesel prices are holding pretty steady. Diesel sits at $4.04 per gallon, down 2 cents per gallon from a month ago and down 20 cents from a year ago. Of course, averages are averages, and there have been some big swings at the state level. Since last Thursday, gas in Utah is up 26 cents and Idaho is up 17. The nation's top 10 most expensive markets for fuel are California at $5.02, Hawaii, Washington, Nevada, Oregon, Alaska, Illinois, Arizona, Utah, and Washington, D.C. More in a moment, but first, this video is sponsored by Wholesale Warranties. Don't let expensive repairs sideline your camping trips this summer. It's no secret that the cost of repair, along with everything else, just keeps going up and up, especially with the complexity in RVs these days. Protect your travel budget with reliable coverage from Wholesale Warranties. You get coverage for the most common mechanical issues like leveling systems, cooling systems, slide outs, appliances like your refrigerator and your range, all the way up to the engine of a motorhome and more. Plus, with Wholesale Warranties, you can take your RV to any licensed repair facility in the US or Canada and you can use mobile technicians. With a story we're going to get to in a minute, you're going to see why using mobile technicians is a really big deal. You also get 5-star customer service from a company who puts RVers first. Visit wholesalewarranties.com to get your free personalized RV warranty quote today and let them pick up the next repair bill. Well, the RV industry continues to ramp up production even as sales continue to drop. We recently reported the latest sales numbers for January show retail new RV sales down 19%. But the latest RV shipments report just came out showing that the RV industry has now increased output for 4 months in a row. The RV Industry Association's February 2024 survey of manufacturers found that total RV shipments ended the month at 31,000 units, an increase of 17.8% compared to the 26,000 or so shipped in February of 2023, and a jump of about 25% over January. That said, the boost in units is all on the towable side. Towable RVs led by conventional travel trailers ended the month up 24.4% from last February, but motorhomes finished the month down 12.5%, and particularly the most expensive motorhomes, Class A and B, are down significantly. Class A motorhome production is down 32% from last February. So even though production is rising, the total value of sales may be a little bit lower than expected due to the swing toward less expensive RVs. Dealership software and data company IDS is reporting that for February, 2 out of 3 units sold on dealer lots were new. A year ago, it was more like 7 out of 10. So the percentage of sales going to used units has definitely increased a little bit. 4 out of 5 sold were towable. That's actually a little low, which is surprising considering the drop in motorhome production. Generally, about 90% of RVs sold are towable. We had heard some mumblings about interest rates dropping, even though the prime rate hasn't been cut by the Fed yet. And that's due to banks wanting to strike more deals and expecting the Fed to cut rates later this year, as they have said that they would. But the numbers don't really show that. The average interest rate was 9.64% on RVs bought in February. That's about the same as they were a year ago, but perhaps if you have excellent credit, the rates might be coming down just a hair. Also, we've heard about prices dropping over the past year, but the average selling price and the average amount financed have gone up slightly. Now, that could mean people are buying more expensive units overall, or it could mean that prices just really haven't budged that much. You'd think that the reduction in sales would mean that the service side of things would be getting better. Unfortunately, it's really not. IDS is reporting that the average repair event cycle time, how long it takes to get a repair done once you've dropped it off at a dealership, sits at 45 days. Last May, it was 34 days at the beginning of the camping season. And that's with the average work orders on a lot going down dramatically. Last May, there were over 41,000 open work orders at IDS's over 300 reporting dealers. In February of this year, there were only 24,500. Much of that increase in the time to get work done is due to out-of-stock parts. If you're in need of warranty repair and you aren't sitting down, take a moment to do so. The average warranty repair is taking 50 days, and if the parts are out of stock, the average repair is 75 days. That's what, 2.5 months? Some news on the front of super high-end luxury RV resorts this week. Construction is now underway on a new $60 million hot springs-centric luxury resort outside of Zion National Park in Utah that's expected to open in the fall of 2025. $60 million is a lot of freaking money to build a campground. But there is a little bit more to it than that. Ground broke Monday on Zion Canyon Hot Springs, located about 20 miles west of the park's south entrance. It will feature 53 bodies of water, including 32 natural hot spring pools and a mix of mineral pools, barrel saunas, cold plunge pools, and an expansive freshwater pool and whirlpool. The owners plan to split the resort off into areas for families and areas for adults that aren't traveling with children. The resort will also include bars and restaurants, cabanas, and locker rooms with 1,150 lockers. I suppose they cited that number because they're expecting a lot of people to swim in the hot springs, whether you camp there or not. World Springs is the park's owner, and they also run Iron Mountain Hot Springs about 40 miles northwest of Aspen, Colorado. They'll also be opening a location in the Dallas-Fort Worth area this spring. A little further south in Lamarck, Texas, on the Galveston Bay, they're getting an $80 million complex, which has an RV resort at its core, but will also include a hotel, a 4-acre lake with a boardwalk, and restaurants and bars. Community RV Resorts is behind it. They're a developer and operator of RV resorts along the Texas and Louisiana Gulf Coast. Local supporters hope this 62-acre project will nab some of the Galveston tourism for the mainland. Lamarck is often seen as a sort of pass-through community to cross the causeway onto Galveston Island. 5 acres of the development will include a retail center, 25 acres will be the RV resort, 30 acres will include other tourist attractions, and the remaining land will be parking. The lake will be encircled with 8 to 10 open-air multi-level restaurants, the hotel, and a convention center. That's it for this week's RV and camping news. Hey, if you want to come to our homecoming rally this October, tickets are going to go on sale April 1st for our mile marker members. That's our paid support community. We'd love to have you join it. It's $7 a month or $70 a year. And you get some special perks like a weekly extra podcast, plus our monthly Ask Us Anything live stream. The next one is actually happening on Monday. So if you'd like to join us, consider becoming a mile marker member. I'll leave a link in the description. Thanks a lot, everybody. We'll see you next time.